Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Good evening. It's Friday, March 11th. Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. The Ukrainian refugee crisis is playing out right here at our doorstep. Families who escaped the war now holding out hope at our border that they can get in. So what is the U.S. doing, and what are those family members saying? Here's KPBS reporter Gustavo Solis.
Natalia Polyakova fled her home in Kyiv on the 5th day of the war. She's tried to ask for asylum in the United States, but keeps getting turned back at the San Isidro border crossing.
Again and again, like 40 times a day per car and per on foot, and different borders here, but nothing.
Friday morning, it was another failed attempt. Border officials told Polyakova that she couldn't enter because of the pandemic. Relatives are waiting for her in Oxnard, ready to pick her up as soon as she crosses. She says going back is not an option.
We can return back home, because the war, the bombs and the rockets and Putin.
Polyakova gave President Joe Biden this direct message.
We need help, please. We really need help. My message to U.S. government that we really need help.
Hundreds of Ukrainian and Russian asylum seekers have already crossed into the country through the San Isidro port of entry in recent years. More are expected in the coming weeks. Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.
President Biden is calling for more sanctions against Russia, including suspending normal trade relations. It comes as Russian troops just keep moving west, with more Ukrainian cities being targeted. Reporter Chris Nguyen has the latest.
For the first time, Russian forces are expanding their attacks in Ukraine to the western part of the country. This as fighting intensifies closer to Kyiv, the capital city, and the humanitarian crisis becomes increasingly dire and desperate. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky hitting back at widely discredited Russian disinformation, suggesting that his country is preparing a chemical attack.
Have you decided to carry out dechemicalization of Ukraine using ammonia? Using phosphorus? What else have you prepared for us? Where will you strike with chemical weapons?
The United Nations meeting Friday at the request of Moscow about its false claim the United States is developing chemical weapons in Ukraine.
We're not going to let Russia get away with lying to the world or staining the integrity of the Security Council by using this forum as a venue for legitimizing Putin's violence.
Also Friday,
we're showing our strength, and we will not falter.
President Joe Biden called for suspending normal trade relations with Russia and said the U.S. would ban imports of seafood, vodka, and diamonds from the nation as part of an overall effort to ramp up economic pressure. The measure requires an act of Congress.
We're going to hit Putin harder because the United States and our closest allies and partners are acting in unison.
Chris Nguyen, KPBS News.
People around the world are donating money to Ukraine, creating an opportunity for scammers. Coming up on Evening Edition, how to make sure your money doesn't end up in the wrong hands. It's officially been 2 years since the COVID-19 pandemic was declared. KPBS health reporter Matt Hoffman spoke with a local doctor about how far we've come and where we are now.
I think I have a lot of mixed emotions about what has transpired.
Dr. William Sang is Kaiser San Diego's assistant medical director. He's coordinated their pandemic response and remembers trying to help infected patients before there were vaccinations and treatments available.
All we had at that time was putting people on a ventilation and giving them some supportive care IV.
Sang says San Diego has come a long way in 2 years, from the first cases and deaths to developing treatments and vaccines that have been proven to reduce hospitalizations and death. Right now, 2.9 million San Diegans have gotten at least one dose.
In terms of the environment, the community, if you're vaccinated and boosted, you're doing pretty good. I mean, I feel good about it, and I would have my father go out in the community now that he's boosted.
San Diego County is still seeing about 500 cases per day, but COVID-related hospitalizations have dropped dramatically from more than 1,200 in January to now just over 250.
We've done a good job. But again, there are still segments of the population that may not be getting the right information or may not be getting the full information.
State mask mandates in schools are gone next week. Studies have shown masks do reduce transmission, and Sang is worried about younger students who have not had a chance to be vaccinated yet. He points to a CDC study from last year where an infected teacher started an outbreak.
And if you look, it's directly proportional. Like all of the front row got it. Some of the second row and the people who didn't catch it were in the back row. So it really is airborne and it can't spread.
Healthcare providers are beginning to look more at the long-term impacts of COVID infections, which for some can lead to increased chances of strokes or heart attacks. Sang is also hoping more people start coming back for routine checkups.
I can tell you across the board, all the preventative measures, colon cancer screening, blood pressure screening, cervical cancer screening, all of that has come down.
This week, county health officials announced they have shifted the focus of case investigations to those most at risk, including those 65 and older. Matt Hoffman, KPBS News.
Concerns about COVID caused more than 40% of workers to miss work amid the Omicron surge. That's according to a new Kaiser Family Foundation survey. Low-income workers were even more likely to report missing work. About 6 in 10 said they had to call out sick, and less than a third said they got paid sick leave. Nearly 30% said they went to work with COVID symptoms or after being exposed because they could not afford to take time off. Rental rates and home prices continue to climb in San Diego County, pricing out many families and seniors. KPBS Speak City Heights reporter Jacob Ayer shows us the progress on a new affordable housing complex set to open later this year.
A new affordable housing residence catering to seniors and low-income families in City Heights is in the final stages of construction. The project is a 100% affordable housing development that has 78 family units and 117 units for seniors. Fred Davis is a volunteer with Serving Seniors, the nonprofit organization that will help operate the building.
No matter where the location is here in San Diego, we still need housing for seniors. We have a new generation of homeless seniors, and everything is going up. And most of the seniors, they live below the federal poverty level.
The new development is located in City Heights at the busy crossroads of Fairmont Avenue and El Cajon Boulevard. Serving Seniors CEO Paul Downey says residents will have access to on-site activities, case management services, and they can receive no-cost senior meals just a few blocks away at another Serving Seniors affordable housing complex. That's in addition to the building also being a space for low-income families through a collaboration with Price Philanthropies.
Sometimes with affordable housing, we tend to kind of warehouse. We'll put a bunch of seniors here, we'll put a bunch of veterans there, or families only over here, and really having that cross-generational interaction is healthy and normal, and it benefits everyone who's living there.
The building is tentatively scheduled to open in late summer 2022. City Heights CDC Director of Housing Eric Tilkemeyer says the new development will help, but another issue that affects low-income residents in San Diego is the lack of middle-income housing.
If you can only afford to pay $1,500 a month rent, you can't go rent a $2,000 a month place, but you can go rent a $1,000 a month place, and that takes it away from somebody who can only afford the $1,000 a month rent.
Prospective residents who are 62 and older can now register their interest in the housing complex at servingseniors.org. Downey says to do so quickly as demand is very high. Jacob Ayer, KPBS News.
Longer days are almost here. This weekend, we set our clocks forward 1 hour as we switch to daylight saving time. But KPBS reporter John Carroll says the switchover comes with a significant downside.
It's that time of year again, spring forward, as we move into daylight saving time. A majority of Californians want it to stay that way year-round, as evidenced by the passage of Prop 7 in 2018. That gives the state the authority to make daylight saving time permanent. That's because a lot of us really like having that extra hour of daylight. Problem is, for those who get up early, all of a sudden, they're getting up in the darkness.
I study chronobiology, which is the timing of biology.
Dr. Emily Manoogian is a scientist at the Salk Institute. Chronobiology means what your body is doing and when, and how that relates to the environment.
And one of the main things that triggers all those different cues to your body to say what time of day it is light.
So we lose an hour of sleep once a year. No big deal, right? Wrong. Manoogian says shifting rapidly an hour in just a day can lead to a whole host of negative health effects.
Increase weight gain and eventually obesity, increase cardiac events like heart attacks and strokes, increase car accidents even because you're not as coordinated, and general moodiness as well.
And getting up when it's still dark, it's not just the gloominess factor. It's not good for your circadian rhythm.
Your body needs that bright light in the morning to be able to coordinate everything throughout your body.
Back to Prop 7, it's been 4 years now. Why aren't we on permanent daylight saving time? Turns out Congress has to change federal law to allow California to proceed. That doesn't seem to be in the cards for now, so Manoogian has some tips to cope with the change.
Maybe go to sleep and wake up 30 minutes earlier a day before and then 30 minutes on the actual day of, or if you have a few more days, maybe 15 minutes each day, just so your body's able to catch up with it.
Whatever you can do to stay on the sunny side of life. John Carroll, KPBS News.
Baseball is back after a 99-day lockout. The Players Association voted to accept management's offer to save a 162-game season. Owners approved the 5-year labor contract yesterday, lifting the roster freeze and clearing the way for free agents to sign contracts. San Diego Padres fans and businesses near Petco Park are excited and relieved.
Very excited. We have season tickets to the Padres, and we're looking forward to getting back.
I mean, we went through a lot last year, you know, with all the restrictions, the half capacity, the mask mandates, just everything. So this year we're kind of just rolling with punches and very excited to get back to a little bit of normalcy.
The Padres are expected to open their season in Arizona to take on the Diamondbacks on April 7th.
As we check out our weather headlines, well, looks like our winds will be diminishing through the evening. And as we look ahead to the weekend, we'll have lighter winds with some nice mild temperatures. Saturday really looks nice. During the overnight hours, though, it will be a little bit on the cool side, a little bit chilly. And then the onshore flow returns Sunday. So Sunday, we'll see a little bit of cooling and a few more clouds, especially at the coast. Tonight, though, mainly clear skies and cool. Temperatures dropping down to 48 in the metro. Surrounding areas colder than that. And there could be some frost around too. Temperatures dipping down to 38 Escondido, and Remote is down to 36. Mount Laguna down to about 38. Oceanside's at 37. Now during the day Saturday should be quite nice here, quite comfortable. We'll see gentle breezes here with plenty of sunshine. Forecast highs up to 73 in Oceanside, San Diego 72. Look at El Cajon right up to 80, and Borrego Springs 79, Campo 69 degrees. Sunday should be a dry day. We will see that onshore flow, so we will see a little bit of cooling. Monday looks like a pleasant day here with dry conditions and mild temperatures. So let's go to the extended forecast. Like you can see, Saturday looks terrific. Great start to the weekend. Sunday, a little cooler, clouds and sun with that onshore flow, but then we're back to mild and dry Monday and Tuesday. Inland sections, sunshine Saturday, a little bit cooler Sunday, but it warms right back up again on Monday. As we head to the mountains, increasingly windy on Sunday, temperatures hovering in the 50s for the most part. And as we take you to the deserts, plenty of sunshine, warmer Sunday into Monday, temperatures back in the mid-80s. And for KPBS News, I'm meteorologist Mark Mancuso.
Local police departments are trying to curb a rash of catalytic converter thefts, and they need your help. Catalytic converters are a target of thieves who recycle the metal for cash, but they can't get away with it as easily if a serial number is etched onto the device.
It creates a felony if a suspect's caught in possession of it and trying to remove the VIN. It's removing a serialized part of a vehicle, so it creates that charge. Another benefit is if a recycler goes to recycle catalytic converters or purchase a large stockpile of catalytic converters from somebody, they can notice, oh, there's a bunch of license plates inscribed on these catalytic converters. It can alert them to possibly alert law enforcement.
And that's why the Oceanside Police Department is offering free catalytic converter etching tomorrow. You can stop by Lens Auto Body on Jones Road in Oceanside from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Millions of dollars in support are pouring in from all over the world to help Ukraine amid the ongoing Russian invasion. Now, as Jen Sullivan reports, the Better Business Bureau is issuing a warning about charity scams.
The heartache of war in Ukraine has millions looking for ways to help, and the Better Business Bureau is urging you to stay vigilant.
Sadly, you see the flip side of humanitarianism, and those are the individuals that look at this particular type of situation and evaluate how can I take advantage of it.
The Better Business Bureau issuing a warning for those looking to send aid abroad. Here are some tips from the BBB to avoid falling for a scam. Ask questions like, can the charity get to the impacted area? Is it experienced in providing emergency relief? And be on the lookout for red flags, like exaggerated financial claims. Another red flag, fraudulent websites.
They'll set up a very similar sounding name to a charitable organization and change one letter or two, or transpose letters, or change the extension on a website.
Meanwhile, some people looking to help are getting creative and sending aid through crypto. The Ukrainian government has collected over $50 million in crypto assets, according to blockchain analytics firm Elliptic. The BBB says make sure you have an understanding of blockchain and crypto before sending money.
We've received some reports through Scam Tracker regarding scams involving cryptocurrency, so it is out there.
Others are sending aid through Airbnb, booking stays in Ukraine so that local hosts get quick payouts. The BBB says make sure the stays you're booking are from legitimate local hosts. For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
A San Diego animal shelter is joining the effort to help furry friends displaced by the Russian invasion. The Helen Woodward Animal Center is pledging $50,000 to animal welfare organizations in Ukraine and other parts of Eastern Europe. The center is encouraging animal lovers to match their donation to raise a total of $100,000. For more information, you can visit the animalcenter.org/Ukraine. Russia is paying a heavy price for its war on Ukraine as dozens of major corporations cut ties with the country. In the Friday Business Report, Mira Kopik details the unprecedented moves that will fundamentally change the Russian economy.
They're really kind of aligning with the international communities condemning Russia's violent invasion of Ukraine. And so they're just suspending operations. They're saying, you know what, it's better for us to kind of step out. And they're making a statement. And they're making a statement in big numbers. Right now, over 300 companies, very large corporations, McDonald's, Coke, Disney, all big four accounting firms, big banks like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs are all stepping out of Russia. A lot of retailers. So Apple both sells technology products and has retail locations. Starbucks are all shutting things down. And so this is going to have a huge impact on the psyche of Russian consumers on top of everything else that's going on. Because brands that they've known now for the last 30 plus years when Russia opened up in 1991 are going to go away, and they're not going to be back in the near term.
If you watched Sesame Street, then you knew him as Luis. Sadly, tonight we bring you the passing of Emilio Delgado, who played the Fix-It shop owner for 44 years. And that role reportedly is the longest-running role for a Mexican-American actor in a TV series. Delgado, who had ties to Calexico, was 81 years old. San Diego Latino Film Festival is back in person for its 29th season. The festival will host 200 movies from around the globe and from here in San Diego at its new location in Mission Valley. KPBS arts reporter Beth Acamando has this preview.
Last night, San Diego Latino Film Festival celebrated a return to watching movies in person with a documentary tribute to actor Pepe Serna.
I'm maybe a traditionalist in the sense that I like watching my movies in a dark room with a lot of people on a big screen. So to be able to get back to those basics is really amazing to me.
Those basics are getting an upgrade with the festival's new location at AMC Mission Valley Theaters. Westfield Mission Valley Mall is also offering benefits, says festival founder Ethan Von Tilo.
They've been very supportive to us these past few years during the pandemic. They, in fact, gave us a free storefront this past 2 years where we've been having our educational classes for our youth media and tech camps and our teen producers project. And so it was a natural fit to also have the San Diego Latino Film Festival here. And we've taken over this old restaurant. We have a stage outside. So when people come to see the movies, they're going to see a lot of activities. We call it our festival village.
The Old Ruby's Diner is now bursting with art and provides a space for attendees to hang out and talk about films.
You can't get that, from your TV or your Netflix account or something like that. So we're really excited to bring back that in-person component. The importance of getting together as a community and talking to each other and dialoguing about the films and just being together.
That community was broadened by increasing the diversity of voices on the festival staff.
The curating team this year is expanding our network of films, and we've invited many people like Adriana Trujillo to be guest curators. So we have different programs and different programmers for the first time that we never had before.
Which led to showcasing 200 films.
I told the team, let's show less films because it's a pandemic. We don't know who's going to come, but yet they programmed more of the films than ever.
That might be in part because there were so many films to choose from this year.
Even though everyone was in a pandemic, I think creatives really went out of their way to find innovative ways to make movies.
There's always innovation in my favorite sidebar, Un Mundo Extraño Showcase. This collection of shorts and features always highlights audacious filmmaking.
There's a very almost like old school slasher called Al Morir al Matinee, which is like Death by Matinee almost. It's like a giallo inspired like slasher film set in a movie theater. Then there's a great Brazilian film called Medusa, which explores kind of religious celibacy amongst a group of women and how they band together to be the moral police in a way, and they go out of their way to hunt women who they consider to be immoral. Political commentary, kind of fantasy elements, and just some really beautifully staged sequences. I mean, Medusa is such a powerhouse of a movie. I'm really excited for people to see it.
Esparza doesn't like to play favorites, but each year he does fall in love with one film.
There's a film from Mexico called Dos Estaciones, directed by Juan Pablo Gonzalez, that just really floored me in its delicacy and intimacy, which kind of translate to this like very interior film about small actions, small movements, small like, brief encounters. So it's all about like the brief moments in life that kind of define us. And the film is so many things. It's an exploration of a woman who's on the verge of maybe losing her tequila factory, but it's also about her journey to create emotional connections.
Watching these films in person and on the big screen is what excites Esparza each year about putting on the festival.
Whenever I'm not on the floor, I'm usually in the hallway watching a film or rewatching a movie and being like, okay, that looks so much better on the big screen. That's kind of like my takeaway whenever I watch these movies at the festival.
And this year, people will be able to enjoy San Diego Latino Film Festival online and on the big screen through March 20th. Beth Accomando, KPBS News.
Lights, camera, kids, and plenty of action at the Poway Center of Performing Arts this Saturday. As part of its musical youth theater camp, some 90 kids auditioned for Alice in Wonderland. The group is being led by the world-renowned Missoula Children's Theater and will present a full-scale musical in conjunction with Poway on Stage and its support of Arts in Education initiative. There are 2 shows this Saturday, 3 and 7 p.m. Tickets just $20 for adults and $10 for kids 18 and under. Tonight, the newest and most ambitious exhibit yet is open at the San Diego Zoo. It's more than 3 acres of sprawling natural animal habitats. KPBS education reporter MG Perez shows us how the space offers a connection with nature just when we need it the most.
On this beautiful Friday afternoon, the sun is shining on something that used to be so familiar and is back again. Kids feeling absolute joy and excitement.
I was like, oh, hey, Mom, look, there's a monkey. And she saw it, and then the monkeys were, like, really close to us. And then I was impressed.
This new space at the San Diego Zoo used to be the old children's zoo, and now it's 3.2 acres of animal habitats called the Wildlife Explorers Base Camp. There are multiple levels of indoor and outdoor exploration with animals and insects everywhere. Touchscreens and time to play make this a perfect place to learn about the problems the pandemic exposed and how we might solve them.
We are excited to give all of our audiences, especially the next generation, a better understanding of how interconnected we all are. To understand that we need nature to be healthy, we need wildlife to be healthy, for us to be healthy.
How did you guys get down there? The base camp project cost $88 million, which was paid for by 3,700 donors.
We want the children to be able to be a child. We want them to not be on their cell phone, not be on that iPad, and really get immersed into nature.
Clint Lusardi is the zoo's wildlife care manager. He helped design and implement many of the programs now offered in this new space, where learning is already well on its way.
They then want to do more for the environment. So then they want to know, what else can I do? What can I do to help save these animals and the environments that they live in?
Danielle Miller homeschools her children, and this afternoon the lesson included squirrel monkeys.
It gives them a place to get out some energy so they can be focused more when we want to stop and learn something. And it makes the learning fun because they can see the squirrel monkeys are right here.
After a couple of hours, 4-year-old Lucia has learned that monkeys are just like kids.
They're cute and they swing a lot. And the last thing is they like to eat a little snack.
What have you learned here today?
That animals are amazing.
Mission accomplished. MG Perez, KPBS News.
That looks like so much fun. You can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Good night.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.